Hi everyone, I am rooting an HTC Thunderbolt today. About a week ago I posted on my blog trialsandtribstech.blogspot.com about how to install custom ROM using Clockwork Mod. I wanted to demonstrate that today as well as the root process. The root process is going to be pretty similar no matter what phone you use because there's usually about only a couple different ways to do it out there, though the particular app that you might use on your phone or your computer is going to be different depending on what phone you use. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and went into the menu under settings and turned on USB debugging. I'm also going to be putting it in charge only mode. Right now, for the particular tool that I'm using for the Thunderbolt, Revolutionary, at revolutionary.io, I needed to get the HBoot version for this phone. They just need to know what the version is to make sure that the tool works. I did that by turning the phone off and holding the volume down and the power button until it shows the HBoot version. I found out that it's 1.04, so I plugged it in here. And right now, I am going to just restart the phone, using the power buttons and the volume buttons to control the phone. And I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to get the serial number. As you can see, I have already installed the HTC drivers, and right now I have downloaded the Revolutionary software and I've ran it. And I'm going to get the key from the revolutionary.io site by entering in the HBoot and the serial number, so I can enter it into the tool and commence with the rooting. Now this tool is a really good tool because it will install ROM Manager, or not ROM Manager, Clockwork Mod for you, so that later on, we'll be able to get directly into Clockwork Mod and go ahead and install the ROM, which I've also pre-downloaded. So let's see here. It's just going to take a minute to boot the phone up. And remember, we're going to get the serial key here. That you get the drivers for the HTC from htc.com. You can find a bunch of ROMs on xda-developers.com. So, it takes a little bit of research, but you're going to want to do some reading before you attempt this anyway, because I imagine you have a different phone than I'm rooting today. If you don't, this is going to be pretty good instructions for rooting the Thunderbolt. I'll post a link to my blog with this video, and for my bloggers, I'll of course have a link for you on my site as well to this YouTube video. Thunderbolt takes a while to boot up. Okay. So it automatically went into charge-only mode, and I had turned on USB debugging the last time through settings, applications, and development. To put it in charge-only, you just drag down the notification bar and click on the connection to the computer and put it to charge-only. Okay, so serial number. Gonna go to About Phone. I think it is under phone identity. I just clicked battery, but it's under phone identity. Now you got to plug that serial number into the Revolutionary site. Now this Revolutionary site is a combination of the works of a couple of different developers. They combined their root tools to make this. It mainly only works for HTCs. So heads up there if you're trying to do a Samsung or a Motorola, this is probably not going to work. Okay, so I got my key right here. I'm not responsible for any bricking or anything else that happens to your phone when you're doing this. This is beta software, by the way, so just something to know. There is a risk. It's very low. if you take all the precautions that I do, such as, making sure your phone battery is at least 50% charged. I like to back up my ROM with my backup. It's a very simple app to use. It's very customizable. You can back up only the things that you want. And it's pretty automated. Okay, so I've entered the key. And as you can see on the command prompt here that Revolutionary pulls up, it is automated. It's doing everything by itself. Oh, it said the communications with the phone was updated. That's probably from when I restarted the phone. Okay, let me paste that key in there again. Just as long as it gets through this initial part, it should work just fine. Usually if you can't get this to work, it is because of drivers, so you might have to uninstall and reinstall. I like to use PDA-Net, especially for Motorola's. It works really well, but I've also had a lot of success downloading PDA-Net from cnet.com for my computer and working it on Samsungs and HTCs as well. May have even used it for an LG before. The majority of the phones out there for Android are those brands, so. Okay, and you can see that it's working because, oh, I thought it was working. Just a minute. Oh, there it goes. So it's going to reboot the phone right now. And it'll go through, it'll do its thing, and it will start up. It's asking me if I want to download and install Clockwork Mod. I'm just going to press Y and enter to say yes. So it's in flashing Clockwork Mod, which is a custom recovery, which allows you to do the installation. You'll notice that this has been unlocked because it says that it's S off. With HTCs, if S is off, when it says it on the screen, that means the root has been successful. So, I'm putting this custom ROM on here. I wanted to get rid of some of the bloatware from Verizon, take care of some performance issues. The Verizon's ROMs have a lot of spyware stuff on them. Keep track of you so they can get advertising and stuff like that. I'm also going to underclock this phone so that when he's not using it, it's in his pocket, whatever else, it will have a lot better performance as far as battery life goes. I prefer not to overclock because, a lot of people have cases and, every phone's a little different. You can cause a lot of damage if you overclock, in the very least limiting the lifespan of the device. Alright, it looks like it closed out, so I'm going to see here if I can get into recovery. Let's see. So you just want to press the power button from that screen when it's done and use the volume down button. It'll take a minute because it's got to do its thing, but you use the volume down button to get into recovery. Now, I did not already drag the ROM over to the device, but something a lot of people don't know about is you can put it into USB connected mode from recovery, and you would be able to drag the ROM over to the phone and install it without ever having to restart the phone. So just a minute here. I'm going to go down to a mount and storage, press the power button. The power button's the select button, and go down to mount USB storage. So it is mounted, and you can see on the computer screen that it popped up the M drive, which is just what the instance of the USB connection is called on my computer. It may be called something else on yours. So I went into my downloads folder. I'm dragging over this ROM called a Liquid Mecha that I'm going to try. There's some really great community-supported ROMs out there that are lighter weight and actually, from my experience, more reliable than what Verizon has. Verizon, once they push something out the door, they're not too concerned about reliability because they want you to buy a new phone. And also, there's performance hits, like I said, from Verizon equipment, or any carrier's equipment for that matter, because they have a lot of stuff spying on you in the background. If you don't believe me, Google it. So now I'm going to go ahead and unmount the phone using my little select button here at the top. I'm going to scroll to the back of the menu and go back. I'm going to wipe data and factory reset. This is very important that you do a full wipe of the phone. There's actually three steps to this process. If you do a full wipe, it's going to work. If you don't, it's most likely going to hang up from the very beginning. It is not going to work well, be reliable. It's probably not going to be usable whatsoever. So, by all means, please do a full wipe. Now, when I get this all up and running, I'm going to download my backup and do a restore. All the files will still be on the data card, or the SD card, so it won't be any problem to recover everything that this gentleman had on his phone before I started the work. I just went down, and after doing a wipe data factory reset, I wiped cache. It's complete. And I'm going to go down and I will wipe Dalvik cache. So you got to go down to Advanced, Select, go to Dalvik cache, wipe. You know, whenever you do wipe, you got to confirm. You got to go down to Yes and select it. That's really quick. And then I like to go ahead and wipe battery stats. And okay, so now I'm going to go back to the previous menu, go down to Go Back and select it, and install zip from SD card. And that's what I just put on here a few moments ago when I mounted it as a USB storage drive. Choose zip from SD card, and you want to select the zipped up ROM that you have. In my case, it's Liquid Mecha. Go down to Yes. It's installing. It'll take a few moments. Luckily, this is a really lightweight ROM. It's 65 megabytes. And still has all the basic things you want without all the bloatware from Verizon that you don't want. All the paid-for apps that you don't want to pay for, all that. You can still install all kinds of other stuff that you would want. And in fact, you'll have more options because rooting allows you to install more apps that you normally wouldn't be able to. More apps will actually show up in the market for that matter, so it's really great. So we'll go ahead and reboot it, and that is how you root an HTC Thunderbolt, and that is how you use Clockwork Mod. I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you do, please visit my blog, trialsandtribstech.blogspot.com. And please rate my YouTube video. I want to improve the way I do things. And if you have anything to suggest, or if you have any questions, I'm going to answer your questions. This is I want to be part of this community project of rooting and installing ROMs. And thank you very much.